What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Just driving.
Cool. I was thinking of something cool.
What's up?
I knew you were thinking about making a video, but I was thinking a lot of truck drivers, we're driving half the time and we're working half the time. So I was like, shoot, maybe I could record the call and then we could kind of like do a little, almost like a podcast situation so people can kind of listen to what we're talking about and be more comfortable. Because then that way, a lot of people, they're a little bit nervous when they're in front of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got some time, I was like, hey, maybe I'll do a little interview while you're driving. How's that sound?
Well, I like the sound of it, but the only thing is, like, the video might cut out on my part because I'm driving, because the signal.
Well, let's see what happens, and then, I won't put it up unless, it's legit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, hey, first off, man, hey, thanks for reaching out to me about the hurricane, you know what I mean? Only a few people reached out to me that know I actually live in Florida, so I appreciate that. Most people don't care if I'm gonna, fly out into space, you know what I mean?
Or if the truck tips over or whatever.
Exactly. So, a lot of people, man, they want to be where you're at, bro. Let's be honest, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, the truth be told, before you were a truck driver, where did you, what were you doing, man?
I was driving buses.
So, when you drive buses, can you talk a little bit about that? Like, let the people know, like, how that pay is, and maybe that could be maybe a good resource for people and why you decided to go into trucking,
Yeah. Well, like the buses that I was driving, okay, so I started on the big buses, like the tour buses. It was like a 40-footer. And then I did that for like 2 years. And then I got laid off from that job. And then after that, then I found some other bus company, but it was like these small little marshmallow buses. I call them that because they're white,
Oh, yeah. It sounds scary to me, honestly, like driving people around. Like, you got to go in big cities because you live in LA, right?
Yeah.
That sounds more scary than driving a truck to me. What was like was it like hourly pay or was it like how truckers get paid, like by mile?
Yeah, it was per hour.
And then what was the kind of money that bus drivers make?
Well, on the big buses, I was making around $12.75, like almost $13.
Wait up, you were making $13 to house around people? What happens if it was like an episode from Speed where like there's a bomb in your bus and then you have to like drive at a certain mile an hour, dude? That's dangerous.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah.
So I can see. So basically, after getting laid off, you're like, forget it. What made you want to go into trucking then?
Really, it was to follow my dad's footsteps.
Really? I didn't know that. Your dad was a truck driver?
Well, no, he actually has his Class A license, but he's always wanted to go over the road and drive trucks, to see the country. But he's never had that chance. He just drives locally. He drives a box truck. But yeah, I'm doing his dream.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. So we always talked about it. So he probably always has like. So that's super interesting, man. So, so your dad, always had a dream of just kind of like going over the road and seeing the country. But like, what was the first step after you decided you want to be a truck driver? Like, how'd you know what school to go to, or how'd you know where to go?
Well, actually, I went to this one school. It's a pretty big one in LA. It's called Dootson. But
how do you spell that so people know?
Dootson. Dootson.
And talk about the school a little bit. Like, would you recommend the school? And let's talk about the school a little bit. You know what I mean?
I would recommend it, but they are no longer. What would you call it? Like, no longer there? Or,
they're in prison.
Yeah, they closed down. But after that, then I went to this other trucking school. It was a smaller one, and it's close by my house. And that one is really good. I would definitely recommend that one to everyone.
And what was that one called?
That one's called GSF.
What was G as in GSF?
Yeah.
And how much did that school cost?
That one cost me around, roughly around 4,000.
So 4,000. So I talked in the video of schools being a licensed school, certified school, or accredited school. Would you know if it was a licensed, certified, or accredited school?
Off the bat, I don't know, but I think it was. I'm not sure which one, but
Yeah, but basically, so it cost about 4,000. How long was the program?
it really depends on the person. It could take like 2 to like maybe 3 months. But I mean, for me, it took me like 5 months, just because I had to take the test like over and over, you know.
Oh, so you had a hard time passing the permit part, or the what part?
The driving.
Oh, the driving. What was the hardest part about the driving that you struggled with?
For me, it was the shifting.
So that's good to bring up. So I couldn't shift either, man. Like I barely could shift now.
Yeah.
So what got you past the shifting? I mean, just more and more practice, or?
Yeah, practice.
So, man, so anyone out there listening in on this, if you suck at shifting, like my man here did, like I still do, then just keep on practicing and you're going to get it down. And so it took you a while. So here's the thing. Did they charge you more money even though it took you a little longer, or no?
Yeah, I had to buy more lessons, which cost more. I think it was like maybe $500 more per lesson.
Really? So my question,
Yeah.
so it cost you 4,000 at the end?
Yeah, like after everything, after all the lessons and everything.
Really? So if you would have passed it the first time and with flying colors, it might have cost you only like $2,500, huh?
Yeah, something like that.
Man, so even if you need extra training, it didn't really get that expensive.
No,
No, that's good, man. And then, so here's a question I'd like to ask you is, did you know how to drive stick in a car before you went there, or no?
I did, but not that great.
So for people that are nervous about driving, driving a stick shift in a 18-wheeler or a big rig and not knowing how to do it in a car, you still can learn, right?
Yeah.
So, man, that's awesome, man. So what would you recommend to people besides the school? Any side advice for having basically an easier time, something that you wish you would have known in truck school?
I mean, just stay motivated and practice a lot. Just keep on practicing.
No, I hear you, man. Shoot. So fast forward, after you graduate, how'd you find your first job in trucking?
Well, I was calling around different trucking companies in the LA area, and everyone said they want some kind of experience. I called JB Hunt. I called everyone. JB Hunt wanted three months over the road. I was like, okay, that's not that bad. So I ended up calling Schneider, and Schneider, they actually took me right away. They said, we have an opening for orientation. Starts in December, because I was getting my license in, I think it was August or September of 2016. And yeah, so December I started Schneider, and yeah, from there the rest is history.
Really? So interesting. So the mega carriers like JB Hunt didn't take you right away, huh? Was there any other ones that wouldn't take you right away?
There probably would have. I mean, I was just checking Swift and Schneider. I was kind of thinking of going to Prime, but I mean, I was doing my research on Schneider, and that seemed to be the one that opened my eyes.
Okay, so you went with Schneider, and then how was the orientation like with them?
The orientation was pretty fun. It's a 3-week orientation. The first week is all like classroom and paperwork and all that. The second week is all like skills and and then you start going over the road with your trainer for 1 week, and then the third week is like it's basically like classroom, a lot like more classroom. You're going to be learning the people now or the Qualcomm, like the computer in the truck, and then after that, then you're pretty much done, and they send you out to get your truck, and yeah, you're starting from there.
So you were in LA and you were looking for a company, and did you have to travel to go to the Schneider orientation, or did they have one near near LA?
The closest one to me was in Phoenix, Arizona. They asked me if I wanted to fly out or take a bus or drive, and I was like, I'll just take Greyhound,
Well, did they pay for any of the expenses at all, or how did that work out after you're done with the 3-week program?
Yeah, the Greyhound was completely free. It was paid by Schneider. They do pay for breakfast and lunch, but dinner you're pretty much on your own. And
what happens if you would have wanted to fly? Would they have paid for that too?
Yeah, that was free too.
Oh, so basically any way to get there, the hotel, breakfast, and lunch is free for 3 weeks, but they just don't pay for dinner?
Yeah.
Really? And then did they make you sign a year contract or anything like that people hear about with Schneider? Or was it, did they not make you sign a contract at all? How did that work?
There's no contract for me, at least, because I chose to go over the road. Now, there might be a contract maybe for local work, like dedicated,
right,
that they have. But, yeah, over the road, there's nothing.
Now, what happens if they would have paid for your school? You think they would have had a contract for those people? Or the fact that you paid for your own school, that's why you don't have a contract as well?
I'm not too sure if they have a school. I haven't really looked into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. So basically, you had to pay for. So, how much was your expenses after your school? Because you had to pay for the food. You know what I'm saying? As far as dinners go. So, how much was it after 3 weeks?
Like after food and all, like I probably spent like $500 over there.
Okay, so you're eating pretty good then.
Yeah.
Did they put you in shitty hotels, or did they put you in some nice?
No, it was actually a nice hotel. It was Holiday Inn.
Oh, did you do Holiday Inn?
Yeah.
Hey, that's what's up, man. So you go with your trainer. Now, fast forward, you go with your trainer. Did you get to pick your trainer, or you hear all these horror stories about trainers, like just being super crazy, right?
Uh-huh.
How was like your trainer? What was your experience like?
My trainer was actually really, really cool. Like, he would talk to you. He would crack jokes with you. I mean, he was just like down to earth. Like, this guy was like thumbs up. Like,
so you lucked out.
Yeah.
Do you remember the trainer's name? If anyone wants to go with Schneider in Arizona, is there a name you don't mind throwing out?
Yeah, his name was James Peters.
So James Peters, people, if you hear a James Peters, you jump on that truck right away. That's the only time I tell you to get in the truck with another man.
Yes, you have to.
So you being new off the gate, right? Just getting your license and, barely passing your CDL and getting, basically everything that you need. Were you ready to be with your trainer, or is that when you really started to get your real experience?
I was ready. I mean, I just wanted to get out there and start making money,
What was the hardest part with the trainer? Being with the trainer, was there any difficult parts that you would advise people that, to look out for, or any advice and tips when you're out with your trainer?
The hardest part for me, I think the backing, because I had trouble backing. So,
I still have trouble backing, my friend.
Yeah.
I still don't know what I'm doing. So, so did the trainer get you past that, or any tips for new people that are scared of backing too? Anything you would advise them?
Like I said before, just practice. For me, I don't really back as much, back up the truck as much, because I drive doubles right now. But in the times I drive, the 53 footers, I mean, I just straight line back. I just make it easy on myself. Um, I mean, yeah, just practice if you have a hard time.
No, that's good, man. So, how long were you with Schneider for?
I was with them for about 4 months.
So you lasted 4 months with Schneider. What was the reason for leaving? Or you know?
Well, I mean, Schneider was a great company. I'm not gonna bash on them, but the pay wasn't really there, and the home time wasn't really there. I would get like 2 to 3 days off, and I would be out like 3 or 4 weeks, on the road. I mean, it was cool at the time, but I got tired of it, and I got homesick a lot, and I just wanted something, that would get me home more often and not travel as far.
So anyone that's thinking about jumping with a new company like Schneider, even though they, they seem to be a decent first company for people, you're going to be gone for at least a month at a time. Can we say that's pretty factual?
Yeah.
And then when you say the pay wasn't there, I mean, if you don't mind, because you don't work there anymore, after your taxes, and they had benefits, of course, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So they paid for all the benefits, but after you cut the check, what was your weekly paycheck looking like?
It was small. It was like chump change.
What was like, it? So people know.
I was actually making more at the bus companies, but
Really?
yeah, it was actually like around $300 to $500 per week.
So you're making like $500 a week. Now here's the question: did the recruiters promise you something different, or did anyone lie to you, or did no one say anything and then you had to find out for yourself? That's a big question.
No, it was just because like me and the partner that I had at Schneider, we just weren't running that hard, as we should be.
So you didn't bring that up, but let's talk about that now. So did Schneider put you in a team's driving situation, or is that just something you jumped into?
That's something I jumped into.
Because you heard it was going to be more money, right?
Yeah, I mean, because if you do over the road, they'll have you pair up with a partner.
Oh, really? So if you're with Schneider and you're starting out and you're going over the road, cross country, 48 states, they're going to put you with a partner. You're going to be doing teams.
Yeah.
So you don't get an opportunity to do solo? That's not an opportunity yet?
You can, but you have to take like this physical test, which I did not pass. Like at first, I wanted to do local and dedicated with them, so I could be home more often. But yeah, since I didn't pass that test, then I have to do over the road.
So what do you mean you had to take a test though? What was that about?
It's a physical test that you have to do all these like exercises with them, like lift weights and whatnot.
You couldn't. It must have been crazy.
Yeah, it was. It was intense, and the weights were just too heavy for me. I wasn't fit.
Why would you have to lift weights to like that heavy to be a trucker?
Basically, because they want you to lift a certain amount of pounds. Because the local work, you have to do like pallet jack and.
Oh, the LTL work is like loading and unloading the trucks.
Right.
Okay. No, I get it. So you were doing teams, but you guys weren't running hard. Was it your fault that you weren't running hard, or is it because you were new and your teammate was new and they weren't giving you the miles?
It was because me and my partner, because we just chose not to run hard.
Oh, so you guys were being you guys weren't as gung-ho as you could have been.
Right.
So if you were gung-ho, you think you would have made those $1,000 a week paychecks? Was anyone there making them?
Probably not 1,000, maybe like $700 or $800.
Okay, so because of your situation though, you were making about $300 to $500 a week. And how many miles were you guys running though? Just so people know out there.
Per week, maybe like less than 1,000.
Man, you guys weren't running that much at all.
No, we would stop to sleep and
So that's
Yeah.
the issue is when you're a new driver, you still kind of have to get used to running hard, right?
Yeah.
I bet now while you're driving, when you think about you just barely driving a couple thousand miles a week, that's laughable now, right?
Yeah.
Like you could do that so easily now by yourself, right?
Oh yeah.
So so that could be something that people could know too is when you're new at driving, you might not have basically the physical to drive 600 miles a day yet, right?
Yeah. At that time, I was probably doing like 200 to 300 max miles.
Was it hard because you were getting tired or you just weren't used to driving that long? Because that makes sense.
Yeah, I was getting tired.
Shoot. So what's any recommendations for people that get tired? Because you've been through it, that are new truck drivers. Anything you recommend for them so that they can drive longer safely?
I would say maybe try driving during the day because day helps a lot. Day driving. Nighttime is going to be really hard, but I think after doing it over and over, I think your body will get used to it.
Right. I think that's the biggest part, right? It's like just us getting used to it, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so after 4 months, you're like, forget this. I'm not, I want to be more local. Forget Schneider. 4 months later, I'm making what I'm making as a bus driver. I'm not getting the pay I want, and I'm gone all the time, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember you talking about that. So, from that moment, what did you do, and how did you get past that after you quit? Did you find another job first, or did you just straight up quit first?
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, it was my partner from Schneider that told me about this company that I'm at now. He said, "There's this company. It's much better. They're gonna pay a lot more, and it's only out on the road for a week, and that's it. You're just out on the road 1 week, and you're home for 2 days, and the pay is really good." So I was like, I was thinking about it, and I was thinking to myself, like, but I really like Schneider. It's a great company, but I was kind of thinking like, which one do I want? And so I finally made up my mind. I was like, okay, I'll just try it out. And I was hoping it was good, and it turned out to be really great.
Well, really, what company is this, if you don't mind? Are they hiring all the time or not really?
Yeah, they're always looking for drivers.
So what
this company is called Transco Lines. They're out in Arkansas.
How you spell that?
Transco Lines.
So it's like Transco Lines?
Yeah.
Okay. And they're out in Arkansas. And basically if they go to Transco, so it's trans like TRANS and then CO, right?
Yeah.
So Transco Lines .com or what? How do they find a company like that?
You could just search it on Google. I'm not sure of the website off the bat, but
Right. But so you just jumped and you went over there, and what was your experience like? Did you work with your partner from Schneider? Did you guys both leave, or what was the situation?
Yeah, the both of us left. We both applied at the time that we were at Schneider, and we just left them. We put our 2 weeks. We were like later.
Did they do anything? Were they upset or?
Yeah, our dispatcher was pretty pissed, but it is what it is.
No, I hear you. And then so you put in the app at Transco Lines, and then you guys basically both got approved, huh?
Yeah.
And so tell me about what that's like now, because it sounds like that's the company you're with now, right?
Yeah. Okay, so if you're applying with Transco Lines, the first seat driver has to have a year or more experience, and the second seat driver has to have 6 months or more. So I had 4 months, and they still took me on.
Really? So you're supposed to have a year, right? Or
well, as the second seat driver.
Okay, so you were going as the second seat driver, and he was going as the first seat driver, right?
Right.
So even though you're 2 months off, they said, "Hey, we'll take you," right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the money? So is the money's different for the second seat driver than the first seat, of course, right?
It's about the same. We're getting Same pay, yeah.
Really? So what's the pay look like? What kind of money are you making a week at Transco Lines now?
Well, we started on this one route that was going from. Let me see if I can remember. I think that one was going from California to Minnesota and back. And that one we started out on 50 cents. That was our starting pay.
And then you guys have to split 50 cents, right?
Yeah. But I mean, the checks were looking good. It was better than Schneider, so I was pretty happy.
You guys, what was the checks looking like per person?
That one on that run, we were getting around $900 per week.
Oh, nice. And then, were you driving a lot more, or how many miles were you doing?
Yeah, I was definitely driving a lot more.
So you really had to gear up, right?
Yeah.
Matt, do you think you could have made the same money if you would have just drove harder at Schneider, though? Because you weren't driving a lot at Schneider.
I probably could have, but, as I said before, I was getting tired of the over-the-road.
Right. So the difference was the home time.
Yeah.
So this was like a dedicated route, so you were getting home every other week, right?
Pretty much every week.
Oh, you were getting home every week. So basically, Schneider and the company you work for now, you basically could make about the same pay, but the difference is instead of being on the road for a month, now you get home every week.
Yeah.
That makes a big difference. I'd be more happy with that too.
Yeah.
So is that where you're at now to this day?
Yeah, I'm still here at this company.
No, nice, man. So overall, you're driving at the moment. Where are you driving to?
I'm currently on a different route. They put me on this better route, which I absolutely love. It's California to Kansas City to Arizona and back to California.
Oh, nice. And then you're getting about the same pay, about $1,000 a week.
We're getting more because we're doing a lot more miles now.
Oh, so you're driving more miles. So for you, really, it wasn't about the miles. It was about the being homesick.
Yeah.
So getting basically someone that's new in trucking can actually, as long as they have 3 or 4 months under their belt, they could actually get a dedicated route. Is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And be home every week, right?
Right.
So that's cool. So does this company give you benefits and everything too?
Yeah, full benefits. And since I got this route, my pay actually bumped up the cents per mile from the Minnesota run.
Really? So how much are you making a week now?
Now we're getting 56 cents split.
Nice. So what are you making, over $1,100, $1,000 a week? What are you making?
Yeah, it's a little bit over 1,000.
Nice. So shoot, dude. So you went from basically making like $2,000 a month as a bus driver to making over $4,000?
Yeah.
And how's that? So how overall within a year of trucking, or it's been 2 years for you now, right?
Almost 2 years, yeah.
So almost 2 years for you now. You're home every single week. You're making more money, right? Of course, you're doing teams, but you found a good team partner to do that with.
Yeah.
How has trucking changed your life? Can you give us maybe a little personal update? Where were you when you were a bus driver versus where are you now? Has your living situation changed? Has your life situation changed? Let the people know, because this is kind of like, the real motivational point that might get people into trucking. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Since I started trucking has changed my life for the better. I'm doing something that I really love. Some people might not like it, so some people will, but, since I started it, I was living with my parents at my parents' house, and that was, at the time it was cool, because I have my parents' help, financially and everything.
Hey, mom cooks good food, that I don't give a crap what anyone says. I live with my mom all day, but at the time, did you have kids or girlfriend? What was your situation like?
Before I had a girlfriend, Then right now she's currently my wife.
Hey, congratulations, man.
Thank you, thank you. But since trucking started, I've been saving up, and I just recently bought a house.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's a 4-bedroom house, and it's brand new, and it's still being built.
Congratulations, man. And
Thank you.
so, I didn't hear all that. So basically, for people on the Theasianmaishow, they don't know, you and I are friends, and we met through YouTube, and you watched some of the videos, and we actually met up with each other. We became friends after that, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know. So basically, as a bus driver, you're barely making it, and then now you're making it, but you have a wife now, and you're buying a brand new house now. Was it hard to get a loan as a company driver with a 1.5, 2 years experience, or did you have an easy time with the bank getting a loan?
It was like 50-50. That they were kind of like skeptical. I kept showing my pay stubs and everything, and then they finally accepted us.
What bank did you go through, if you don't mind me asking? We don't have to get too personal, but people that are getting into trucking, they might want to have a family in the future, and they maybe want to buy a house.
Right. There's this home loan company that I went through. They're called Homebridge.
Okay.
Yeah. And so far it's pretty good. I'm not seeing any like downsides to them, but
And then what was it? So how much money did you kind of have to save to basically be able to put down to buy a home, though, so people kind of know what they need to save? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, savings. The savings that we have, we almost have $20,000 savings from my pay only.
With a $20,000, so in a 1.5 years, you saved $20,000.
Yeah.
But again, that's living with moms a little bit, right?
Yeah, yeah. Exactly.
So if people out there if they're still living at home or they have some assistance, they could save some money, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
But really, I have to give my hats off to my parents because they have helped me huge in financial situations. They gave me money for down payment. They paid for my trucking school. They give me money if I need it,
You've been blessed, man. There's nothing wrong with you, brother. As long as you know you've been blessed, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people try to take away from, people that are blessed. But here's the thing. A lot of people that, are trying to make it and their parents help them, a lot of times they don't even want to help themselves, so at least you're trying to help yourself, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And and you're not faking it like, hey, I saved up all this money by myself, right?
Right.
So that's cool, man. So shout outs to mom and dad, man.
Yep.
Definitely giving it up and and helping out. And so the people know, how old are you now, man?
Right now I'm currently 34.
So 34, man. People don't know, living in LA, living in California, because I'm from California, things are expensive. Most people live in a box, in a closet, or at home to barely make it, right?
Yeah.
So, the California lifestyle is very different, So, that's crazy, man. So basically at the age of 32, you turned your life around in a sense of you felt like you were working a dead-end job and now you have a career, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So overall, any tips or anything that you would recommend to people that are considering trucking as a career path? Anything that you want to leave people with?
Well, when I'm to change, go for it. Because I'm gonna get older, and the money is there. The money is there to be made. I'm not even done yet to be making like all this money, but I'm just climbing the mountain. I'm just doing it.
So, like you hear it, man, from the person himself, man, going through the struggles just like everybody else, man. There's money to be made. and he's just at the beginning of his career too. So overall, man, before I lose you, because I know you're traveling in the mountains or something, I appreciate you for the phone call, man.
Yeah.
Cool. So at the end of the day, any shout outs to anybody out there?
I just want to shout you out, man. Hey, you're like a big inspiration to me. If you're not subscribed to this guy's channel, subscribe right now.
Come on, man. You too much, man. You're too nice to me, man. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you even jumping on the phone call and giving your story so that people kind of can learn from it and know what they need to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So cool, man. Shoot, I'll hit you up later then. Thanks, brother.
All right, then. Yeah.